everybody. Hi, welcome everybody. Welcome to our Biogeosciences Academic Job Market Mentoring Hour. We're now on our third week. I'm Jen Glass. I'm the moderator for this series. And today we're going to hear about how to write a cover letter with Dr. Joseph Tumber-Dávila from Dartmouth University. And next week, I want to remind you, 2 weeks from now, we have how to write a DEI statement with Elsa Ordway from UCLA. So remember to sign up here for our next session. So also another reminder, I know a lot of you are coming back for multiple times, so you've heard this before, but if you haven't, be sure to check out our AGU Biogeosciences website for our job board. We have lots of good listservs on there for jobs that you can apply to. Today, we're going to have the same outline that we've been doing for previous sessions. So we're going to have, this is being recorded for the first part. I'm going to go through ground rules. I'm going to introduce our mentor for today. Our mentor is going to give their presentation and then go through some of your questions. And then we're going to go to breakout rooms and have for 15 minutes or so, and then have a discussion. So I'll go over the breakout rooms after the presentation. Just a reminder on ground rules for the breakout rooms, courtesy of Rob Ulrich of Reclaiming STEM Institute. Please take space and make space, equity of voice. Take minute to allow processing, so don't feel like you have to rush through things. Reminder that you can have both and thinking. Two things can be true at the same time. Remember to be respectful, no talking over or heckling others, no derogatory remarks. Please talk about the statement, not about the author of the statement. Only constructive criticism. And instead of using pros, cons, consider what the statement did well and what can be improved. And don't worry about micromanaging English grammar. Just focus on like big picture things of what can be improved. If there's any issues with this, report any issues to me. There's my email, or PM me on Zoom. Anyone asked to stop unacceptable behavior is expected to comply immediately. Violation will result in being asked to leave. Zoom bombing will result in immediate ejection from Zoom. We haven't had any of these issues on this series, thankfully. So hopefully we continue that. I want to introduce our mentor today, Dr. Joseph Tumber-Dávila, pronouns he, him, is an assistant professor in the Department of Environmental Studies at Dartmouth College. He was an LTER fellow, postdoc fellow at Harvard, did graduate degrees at Stanford, and has a BS from University of New Hampshire. So without further ado, I will turn it over to our mentor for today. Joseph, are you able to unmute? Let's see.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Sorry about that. I've just had every single possible computer issue happening all
Oh, no. It's okay. We can hear you fine. And we're on your slides now.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, I'm trying to move the screens here so I can see the slides. And is the camera work? Do you see me on the camera?
I think so. I can't actually see that myself, but
we can
yes,
see
I
can
see
you.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. For some reason, like it's all just blank on my end. So I will just proceed with what I can here. So yeah, thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here. Sorry again for the computer issues. So I'm going to talk for the next like 10-ish minutes about the cover letter. And I'm really excited for any of the questions that you all have. So I'm going to start just with some kind of first steps, and it's to read every possible material you can about the job. Start with the job ad, what the institution wants reflected on their website, because that tells you a lot about their values. Look for if there is a value statement or some sort of community-driven statement, and look for like outreach things, like what's the language they use when they're recruiting undergrads to go to school. Like these are all kinds of like language and values you want to try to reflect when you're applying to a certain institution, and to really try to make it fit what their norms and values are. Can you move on to the next slide for me? Perfect. So another key piece of advice is to start thinking about your other statements first. Like normally you'll have a research statement, DEI statement, teaching statement, and it's really helpful to incorporate aspects of those in your cover letter. You can think of your cover letter as an abstract that's going to highlight those materials. Next. And I'm going to go into a little bit of a general structure for a cover letter with the kind of key like point of advice is that every cover letter is going to be different. There is no set formula, but at least this will help get you started. Someone asked about a length. Usually in STEM fields, they're about 1 to 2 pages long. They can be a little bit longer if you don't have, for example, if they're not asking you for a research statement or they're not asking for a teaching statement. So, but I would say normally 1 to 2 pages in length. And the starting and the end are kind of the like the wrapper to the sandwich, the bread, and everything has a like there's a good formula you can follow. So I'll outline that in the next couple sections. Next slide. So in the introduction, this part changes probably the least. The introduction and your conclusion probably change the least, but you're going to want to focus it on the specific role that you're looking at applying to. So introduce yourself, who you are. Hi, I'm Joseph Tumber-Dávila, and I'm a postdoc at Harvard Forest. Just to use myself as an example. And then your expertise, you want to dig a little bit deeper. Say, I'm a terrestrial ecologist with focus on ... So you say who you are. You want to start also by saying what the positions you're applying to and kind of your interest in that. And also your interest in the position in place. So these are the parts that you're tailoring in that first paragraph. Next slide. Then comes your research section. This for research universities is the most important. Lengthwise can be anywhere from 2 to 5 paragraphs maybe. I would probably keep it on the shorter end, like 2 paragraphs. And you want to focus on why your research is interesting, what makes it exciting and innovative, what the future of your research is, not just what you've done in the past, but what's your 5-year plan? What are you going to start working on when you go to that institution? And you want to include references to any publications. And this doesn't have to just be, finalized publications, but manuscripts in prep, just so that they can have a sense of what the products you're intending to put out there are. And when I talk about tailoring to the institution, like for teaching focused institutions, you might want to mention how you're going to tie in research and teaching, how you're going to bring in undergrads to your research. And focus in on like the involvement of undergrads into your bigger research picture. But maybe for R1 style institutions, it might be more focused on like the big, exciting, innovative research, right? Every institution wants both, but you just have to kind of angle it to one direction or the other, depending on the institution you're interested in applying to. Next. And then we have the teaching section. Again, with tailoring to a university, the length of this depends really on the focus of the job and the focus of the institution. For research institutions, probably like 1 paragraph on this, and for teaching institutions, it's going to be a little bit longer. And you want to focus and highlight some of your biggest accomplishments related to teaching, maybe some training you've done in terms of pedagogy, courses you've taught, and especially courses you want to teach. And I'm going to be careful, and you want to be careful in the courses you want to teach section, because this is where you need to do your research on the curriculum of the department you're looking at, what courses are there, and how a course you want to teach fits into the overall curriculum that they have. And depending on how you're structuring teaching and DEI, you might want to include some mentoring, but that's more dependent on how you want to set things up. Next. And here's where you have the most space for customization. So you've done your intro paragraph, you've done your research paragraph, you've done your teaching paragraph. Now you can kind of expand on what is important to you and what might help you be a better fit for the institution. So you can talk about your contributions to DEI efforts. You can talk about service. You can talk about more about what makes you interdisciplinary, collaborative, or exciting, and more about your alignment of culture and values to the institution. So you have a little bit of space here in your 2-page cover letter to expand on why you're such a great fit and to really highlight some key aspects of what makes you stand out. Next. And then we have kind of the concluding paragraph, which is similar to your first. You're just going to restate your interest, enthusiasm in the position. You want to remind them why you're such a good fit, leave them with something punchy, something good, and then thank the committee for your consideration. And this is where you kind of get up, celebrate, because you wrote your first cover letter. Next. And then some general remarks. It's really important to have a clear outline. I think the kind of structure I've mentioned is pretty generic, which makes it easier for the people on the committees to read this statement and like know what they're looking at, right? So if you stick to something similar to the guidelines like that I've laid out, then it makes it easier for the committee to understand what they're reading. You want to have clear topic sentences so they know, okay, this section is going to be on research. This section is going to be on teaching. And to highlight that, you can use short, bold phrases. Just don't go overboard with bolding phrases. If I look at a cover letter or a statement and every other word is bolded, then it's a little overwhelming. So just really be super punchy if you're going to bold short phrases. Make links between what they want and what you offer. So this is where doing your research on the job ad and on trying to understand the culture and values of the institution really matters. You want to use examples, give evidence. They have your CV, so you're not just listing things on your CV. You really want to expand on it and why it matters and tie it to your identity. You want to be confident and take credit for your accomplishments. But again, this takes balance, right? You want to be very confident and put yourself out there, but strike the right balance. In the beginning, I always tell people with anything you write long and then shorten, which just means give it your best shot. Don't focus on your first draft of having it be perfect. Just start with the chunks and then you can always shorten it later, but at least it helps you get something on the page. And the most important thing to me is to always try to have someone else read it. I mean, I'm sure if you're in grad school, you probably have other people that are writing cover letters, or if you're a postdoc, any peer postdocs that you're working with are writing cover letters. So I think it's more that we share these things with each other and are just helping each other out succeed. And that's kind of our goal with this hour as well. So definitely just feel free to have other people read your work and kind of pay it forward as well. So with that, that's all I have to say, and we can open it up for any questions.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Yeah, we can go ahead and open up for questions now. Does anyone have questions? And I think we can probably stop the recording at this point also, if you don't mind doing that.